Hello, my name is Amos Tarfa. I'm a medical physicist and math and science curriculum writer. I want to welcome you to Counting to Calculus, the curriculum framework that takes you from basic math all the way to calculus in as little as 1 year. If you're very committed and you want to get down to work, we can get you there in half a year. So that tells us that the K-12 education system in terms of math has a lot of wasted time, and we're trying to redeem the time because the days are evil, as the Bible says in Ephesians chapter 5. So welcome to the curriculum where I guide you from counting to calculus. The main textbook I'll be using is called Understanding Mathematics from Counting to Calculus. This is the textbook, and then there's a solution, math problems and solutions guide. So you learn concepts, you practice the concept. That's how you do it with math. In this course, you can expect to also learn how to be an exceptional student because we're integrating deliberate practice. We're teaching you how to practice. Why do we want you to flourish in math? Well, for a few reasons. Number one, because math is beautiful. But number two, again, the Bible says the heavens declare the glory of God. And so it's by studying astronomy that people began to actually explore areas of physics. So the fathers of astronomy like Galileo, Copernicus, Newton, and Kepler, they had a bigger plan than just, getting good grades, quote unquote. They were trying to understand the heavens that God had created. And Newton did a lot of mathematics that helped us to better understand the heavens. So in this curriculum, you can expect to learn the history and philosophy of math and science, starting from the 1500s, technically from about 1450 when the printing press came, about 1453. So you're going to learn the history of science. We have a playlist called Science in the Scientific Revolution. This curriculum is a math curriculum, but it has the history and philosophy of math and science built in. We also will learn from places like Singapore, Nigeria, and India, places that are exceptional when it comes to K-12 mathematics. We're going to learn from them. Sometimes when people are doing very well in a certain field, go learn what they're doing. Why are they doing pretty good in those countries when it comes to K-12 math? We'll find out in this course, and I hope that you will help your children. If you're a parent watching this, I hope you will help your children to build the right attitudes that can help them be exceptional in math. Singapore has been number one for many years, and I've been studying some of the resources. My kids use Singapore math at one point. I'm going to integrate Singapore math to the elementary portion of the Counting to Calculus framework. So my framework can be used by schools in the K-12 space. You can use it 1 year at a time, or it can be used by universities for remediation, or it can just be used by anybody who wants to become exceptional at mathematics. So we have the books that you need. I also have a book called Tools for Mastering Mathematics. Whoever gets this curriculum from us will also get my book, Tools for Mastering Mathematics, which provides you with resources and tools. Think of it like a reference book. We have a reference guide for you that you can use along with Counting to Calculus. So before we dive into the course, we're going to answer the question, why does anybody need this course? Why does anybody need a book that takes you from basic math all the way to calculus? Before I answer that question, there was actually another man that wrote a book very similar, and his name was Leonhard Euler. If you know anything about mathematics, you would know that Euler is probably the most prolific mathematician, one of the best mathematicians the world has ever known. And in his book, Elements of Algebra, he actually starts by asking, what is mathematics? I love that he starts with the fundamentals first. What is math, right? And he says that whatever is capable of increase or diminution is called magnitude or quantity. A sum of money, therefore, is a quantity, since we may increase it or diminish it. It is the same with weight and other things of this nature. From this definition, it is evident that the different kinds of magnitude must be so various as to render it difficult to enumerate them. And this is the origin of the different branches of mathematics, each being employed on a different kind of magnitude. Mathematics in general is the science of quantity, or the science which investigates the means of measuring quantity. This is from Leonhard Euler. Man, it's so cool to read the books from the people that gave us a lot of the principles. I mean, Euler's identity is beautiful. See, guys, when you use this curriculum, you're going to exceed every state standard, because our goal is not at state standards. Our goal is, how can we be like Euler? How can we be like Newton, right? Just like the Bible talks about the goal of Christianity is to be like Jesus. If you want to be a good mathematician, your goal needs to be like the best mathematicians. But there are people who don't even know who Euler is. That's where part of our problem begins. We don't have a vision for mathematics that makes sense, in America especially, but honestly around the world. How could you be a math student and not know who the best math students or the math people are? That doesn't make any sense. It's like being a basketball player and not knowing Michael Jordan. That makes no sense. Because if you know the best, now you aspire to be like the best. Why am I learning to factor polynomials? Not just because I want to be an engineer, but because it's a beautiful thing to know. It's just beautiful to factor polynomials. Math is beautiful. So I want to leave you with a few things before I share why we're doing this particular book. The first is there's a book called The Mathematician's Apology, and there's one called The Mathematician's Lament, and then there's one called Mathematics for Human Flourishing. These three books will give us a good vision for math. People need to have a vision for math, and we don't have that. A lot of people just think of math as chores. They think of it as having tools to build a thing, when sometimes we tell the kids they don't even have to do calculus, like in Common Core. Common Core is one of the worst things for America because it's limiting or telling kids, hey, you just need to get to this point. The kids are way more capable. We just need to stop taking summers off, and the whole summer off. And we need to stop teaching math with a lot of repetition and wasting everybody's time, right? We can be more efficient. So we could do multiple things. We could be more efficient, increase fluency, increase math history knowledge, and just overall competence in mathematics. That's what Counting to Calculus will do, which is a part of our STEM Excellence framework. Counting to Calculus is the math division. So why do we need one book that covers all of it? Well, Keith Crescent, the author, has given us a vision here. So let's talk about what Keith Crescent has said. Math is arguably one of the most important subjects for success in today's society. I would say he says the most important school subject, right? Especially in today's society. He wrote this book long ago in 1997. However, it's still very true what he's saying. And he says that to some math comes easy, but to others it is extremely difficult. However, math books, math teachers, and real-world applications, and a variety of other factors often affects one's perspective of the subject of mathematics. This is a subject which is often either loved or hated. If this subject is hated, it is not math, but the failure to understand the math that gives considerable frustration to the student. So math itself is innocent. It's a beautiful field, but how people learn it can affect their attitude towards math. What this book provides is a comprehensive guide of math concepts from basic math all the way to calculus. The book can be used for SAT and ACT preparation. The book can be used for GRE and GMAT preparation. So again, we have the textbook component, and then we also have a workbook that goes with it. What I'll be doing in this video series is I'll guide you from basic, literally basic concepts from chapter 2 of the book all the way to the very end of the book. Okay, so who would benefit from the book? Anybody who wants to learn math, anybody who wants to flourish in it, parents, teachers, even use it for your teacher training. Schools can use it to do that. So one book removes the repetition, and it gives you a guide from basic math all the way to calculus. What should you know? Basically, if you start with us in this book, we're starting from the very basics, and we're going to work our way all the way to the end. So all you need is a notebook. Get yourself a good notebook. Get yourself a pen. And you're going to join us in the quest as we begin right from chapter 2, which we're basically, the first thing we're going to focus on is basically numbers. So that's where we're going to start. We're going to start from numbers and place value, and then we're going to work our way all the way to the end of the book. So every section, think of it as every single section that you do in the book, your goal is to make sure that you understand the concept, that you can answer the odd problems, for example. And if you need more practice problems, you do the even problems. So take your time, work through the problems, talk with your coach, and then feel free to email me at amosthemathguy@gmail.com if there's any questions as you go through the book. amosthemathguy@gmail.com. I'm excited to guide you from counting to calculus. As I give you the mathematical framework, I'll give you the math framework of starting with basically what is place value. And then we're going to work our way all the way to calculus. And then on top of that, guess what? I'm also going to take you from 1564, when Galileo was born. But Copernicus had started his work a little bit earlier, around 1550. Copernicus' work is out. We know what's going on. The printing press came around 1550s. So basically, I'm going to give you a historical journey as we go using Journey Through Genius. And we're going to learn about Sir Isaac Newton and his calculus and his Principia. And we're going to keep going until we get to 2024 as it applies to artificial intelligence. But I'm excited to guide you with a historical perspective. So you're going to get the math, all the math you need, but you're also going to get all the math history that you need. So you're going to get history, and you're going to get math fluency. You're going to get both. Why don't we do both? And maybe sometimes the history might inspire the fluency. I look forward to working with you. Take care and have a blessed day.